Hey everybody. Alright, so here's the last review video for this week. What we're talking about today is statistics and probability. We're going to start off with samples. You have unbiased and biased samples. Two types of unbiased samples are a simple random sample, or you can have a systematic random sample. The difference between these two is the simple random sample. An example of this is if you took all the students' names, wrote them on a piece of paper, ripped them apart, balled them up, put them in a bucket, sorted them out, and then randomly drew one out. That's a simple random sample. Systematic means you took a list of all the students in school, alphabetical order, and you systematically went down and picked every 20th person. You have a system there, so it's systematic, but it's still random. Now, biased samples. Now, a biased sample, the convenient sample, consists of members of a population that are easily accessible. An example of this is to represent all the students attending a school. The principal surveyed the students in one math class. Now, see, if you only surveyed one math class, well, how many math classes you got? 7th grade alone has 6 classes a day of different classes. But that doesn't touch the 6th grade, the 8th grade, and everybody else. So see, that doesn't really work. That does not show a good representation of the school population. Voluntary responses. The voluntary response sample involves only those who want to participate. Well, the problem is what if you have 700 students and only 20 of them want to fill out the survey? Well, that's not a good representation. That's a very small percentage of the school as a whole. All right. So let's look at some vocabulary here. Mode, range, median, and mean. The mode happens, The mode happens when you take your set of numbers, you put them in order, and you realize which numbers happen the most. Mode is the most. You can have one number that happens the most, or you can have 2 or 3 or 4 numbers that actually happen the most if they all turned out to happen at the same amount. Your range is your largest number minus your smallest number, or your largest value minus your smallest value. That difference between those is the range of your data. The median is the middle. If you took all your data points, all your values, put them in order from least to greatest, found the middle, that will be your median. Now, if there's a 1 digit in the middle, if you have an odd number of values, your middle one will be singular. Okay? It'll be a single digit, and that's your median. If you have an even number of values, if I have 10 values, I'm going to have to take the 2 middle numbers, add them up, and then divide by 2. That will be my median. And then lastly, mean. Mean is the average of your data. You take all your data values, add them up, and then divide by the total number of values. That will give you the mean, or the average. I'll talk about predictions a little bit. On predictions, you have theoretical and you got experimental. Remember that theoretical is by theory what should happen. Experimental probability is what actually happens. When you look at something and you see P and then an event, that's going to be probability. P right here stands for probability. What's the probability of the event taking place? And you find that out by taking the number of times an event occurs over the total number of trials. And you can find a percentage by dividing the top by the bottom. Compound probability, you got to find the individual probability of each event and then multiply. Fundamental counting principle. Remember that the fundamental counting principle, you multiply each number of choices to get the total. If I have 2 shirts, 3 shorts, I'll put the 3 here. And then shoes. Let's say we have, I don't know, 2 shoes. 2 times 3 times 2. That is 6 times 2. That gives you 12 possibilities. All right. That's your fundamental counting principle. And lastly, we got the factor tree. You can also be used to find samples, a sample space like pictured to the right. Problem with with factor trees is, as you can tell, they get pretty crowded. And if you don't start drawing them off correctly, you're going to run out of room, or you're going to cram it all in there and you can't see your data. But what we're solving here on this side here is first, second, third, or fourth. We're flipping coins each time. What's the possibility of your pattern? And you notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 total possible outcomes. Okay? All right. Take a minute and review a little bit. Go back and look at your notes from Google Classroom. If you have questions, give us a holler. We're here to help you. You just got to let us know. We're here to help. All right. Take a minute and then try to do your review quizzes. If you got questions, let us know. Y'all have a good one.